Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and deliver the essential insights you need to navigate the world. Imagine this for a moment. It's maybe a typical Portuguese winter evening, perhaps a bit cooler than you expected, and you're bundled up. Or maybe it's the height of summer, beautiful sunshine outside, but your home feels, well, like a sauna. And you find yourself thinking, could this place be more comfortable, more, efficient, and honestly, less expensive to run? If you're living in, or even just dreaming about moving to Portugal, these thoughts are probably quite familiar, right? The comfort, the cost effectiveness of our homes, it's incredibly central to our quality of life here. Today, we're doing a really comprehensive deep dive into energetic renovations in Portugal. And this isn't just, about a quick fix or a coat of paint. It's a genuinely crucial topic for expats, for new residents, really for anyone looking to understand the real estate landscape here, because things are changing fast. The whole world of energy efficiency regulations is rapidly transforming. And Portugal is absolutely part of this shift driven by these broader European initiatives. So our mission today is unpack the latest directives, guide you through the practical, actual steps you can take, and maybe most interestingly, shed light on the pretty significant financial support that's available to make your home more sustainable, more comfortable, and frankly, a smarter investment long term.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here and what we'll explore is seeing how these big sort of global and European goals are actually translating into real changes for homeowners right here in Portugal. It's like a small picture of this much bigger shift happening across the continent, towards being greener, more energy independent, understanding all these layers from the big policy decisions down to the nuts and bolts of your own home. That's absolutely key to making good choices about property here, buying, selling, or just improving where you live.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's unpack that foundational bit. This big push for energetic renovations. It isn't just a local Portuguese idea, is it? It's really rooted in these much broader European directives that are, well, reshaping homes everywhere in the EU.
Exactly. The European Parliament, after quite a bit of back and forth, they've reached this core agreement, basically a mandate for homeowners across the EU. They need to undertake energy-efficient renovations. And it's not just a gentle suggestion, it's a really strategic move. It's about tackling climate change, obviously, but also, critically, reducing Europe's reliance on outside energy, right down to how our individual houses perform.
And these aren't just vague ideas, are they? There are specific deadlines, actual targets being set. First off, properties with the absolute worst energy efficiency. We're talking about the bottom rung here.
That affects about 15% of all buildings across the EU, which is a huge number when you think about it.
Wow, 15%. And these specific buildings must be renovated. That's a clear priority.
It is. They're targeting the lowest performers first for a sort of rapid overhaul.
Okay, and then for residential buildings, homes like ours, what are the targets there?
Right, for residential structures, the targets are pretty clear-cut. They need to hit an energy efficiency standard of E by 2030.
2030,
Yeah.
that's coming up quite soon, really. Only about 6 years.
It is. And then the standard gets tougher. They need to reach standard D by 2033. Think of them as minimum performance levels. Properties will need to meet these, not just for the environment, but to hold their value, stay desirable in the market.
So if you're looking at best property now with a lower rating, say an F or G, you really need to factor this into your long-term planning.
Absolutely. It's a major consideration. And connecting this to the bigger picture, these aren't just random targets, pulled out of thin air. They're not just bureaucratic hoops to jump through. They really reflect a fundamental shift. It's about decarbonization, yes, but also, and this is crucial, energy independence for the whole continent. Europe's felt pinch economically and politically from relying on imported fossil fuels. So this is a big strategy to cut that reliance way down. It's about building housing stock that's more resilient, more sustainable. It helps the environment, sure, but it also improves comfort, health, and people's finances. It's a huge investment, really.
And it's not just private homes, right? Public buildings are included too.
Yes, and they face even stricter rules. Public buildings need to be emission-free starting in 2030. That's a pretty rapid change for public infrastructure.
And looking further ahead, new builds.
All new construction, public and private, has to be emission-free from 2027.
Wow. So net zero is basically becoming the standard for anything new.
That's the clear direction, yeah. And what's also interesting is the focus on buildings not currently in use, vacant ones. They also need renovating up to standard E by 2027 and then D by 2033 at the latest.
So they don't want energy inefficient buildings just sitting empty, basically.
Exactly. Prevents them being neglected energy drains.
Okay, and there was something else groundbreaking about solar.
Ah, yes, that's a big one. From 2028, all new construction must incorporate solar systems.
Must. So solar panels will be standard on new houses.
Pretty much. Now, there is a caveat. It's assuming technical and financial feasibility. Some very specific situations might be tricky.
Okay, practical limits acknowledged.
But the overall message is undeniable. Solar power is set to become a standard feature on almost all new buildings across the EU. It'll change how things look, definitely.
So with all these ambitious European goals, what does it actually mean for someone owning or buying property in Portugal today, right now?
That's the key question, isn't it? And it's really important to understand the nuance here. While the European Parliament has agreed on these goals, the EU Commission's recommendations are, at this moment, technically legislative suggestions.
Legislative suggestions.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds important. What does that mean practically?
It means there isn't an immediate, legal hammer coming down tomorrow, forcing individual families in Portugal to rush out and renovate based only on these EU guidelines. Not just yet.
Okay, so no immediate panic required.
No immediate panic, but this period is actually a really interesting window. It's an opportunity, you could say, because while these EU directives aren't hard law in Portugal yet, they absolutely signal the direction of travel. It's where things are headed.
Right, so people can kind of get ahead of the game.
Exactly. You have a chance now to make upgrades, maybe using the financial incentives we'll talk about later, before these things potentially become mandatory requirements. Think of it as boosting your property's value and appeal now, anticipating when these laws fully kick in. It's about being strategic in a changing market.
Okay, that makes sense. So these EU guidelines still need to be, translated into Portuguese law?
Precisely. They need to be incorporated into Portugal's own national climate strategies. And that translation process, well, it takes time. It involves adapting these broad mandates to fit the local context, Portugal's climate, its traditional building styles, which can be very different from Northern Europe, its economy.
Oh, you see a lot of older stone houses, different materials.
Exactly. All that needs to be considered. Lawmakers have to make sure these mandates are actually workable here without putting an impossible burden on people.
So that's why there's this period of discussion and adaptation happening now.
And another big question mark is cost. How will the costs for these required renovations actually be handled?
Who pays, basically?
Yeah, who bears the brunt? How will subsidies work? These are critical questions the Portuguese government needs to figure out as they write the national laws.
But there was something positive in the EU recommendations about that, about helping people.
Yes, very important. The EU Commission specifically asked member states to develop relevant tools for low-income households and to build these into the rules for public and private finance. That's a strong signal.
Okay, so they recognize that not everyone can just afford major renovations.
Definitely. It shows a commitment to making sure the burden doesn't fall unfairly on those least able to pay. Social equity is meant to be part of the plan.
That's good to hear.
But it does raise that big question. How does Portugal balance these ambitious EU goals with the reality of its housing? Lots of older buildings built long before energy efficiency was even a phrase.
Yeah, from historic city apartments to those big rural quintas.
Yeah.
It's a huge variety.
It is, and that focus on tools for low-income households is key. It suggests the national strategy will need to be carefully crafted, avoiding hardship, but still pushing forward with the energy transition. It might mean not just money, but maybe education programs, easier paperwork, making it accessible for everyone.
Right, not just for people with deep pockets.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving beyond those big EU mandates, let's talk about understanding your own home's performance now. And that brings us straight to the Certificado Energético, Portugal's energy certificate.
The energy passport, as you called it earlier. And its role is just getting bigger and bigger in the property market here. It's really changing things.
And there's a push to standardize these certificates, make them clearer.
Yes, a big push. By 2025, so really soon, all energy certificates for buildings have to be rated on this standard A to G scale.
A being best, G being worst.
Exactly. High efficiency to low efficiency. Makes it much easier for everyone, buyers, renters, to see instantly where a property stands.
And you'll need to show the certificate more often.
Significantly more often. Soon, any major renovation, extending a rental contract, or selling a building, all these will require the energy class to be officially determined and declared.
Transparency is key then.
Absolutely. And very practically, it means property ads for sale or rent must include the energy efficiency class.
So you can't hide a bad rating anymore. It has to be right there in the listing.
Nope, it has to be up front, which really levels the playing field for buyers and renters. They get that info right away.
And you mentioned it's more than just a label, it's a tool.
Yeah, that's what's really interesting. It's designed as a diagnostic tool. It doesn't just give you a grade, it gives you a roadmap for how to improve. Concrete, actionable suggestions tailored to that specific property. So it shifts the focus from just, here's how much energy you use now, to here's your potential for improvement.
Okay, so it empowers homeowners to actually do something about it.
Precisely. It turns what could be seen as a problem, a low rating, into a clear plan for adding value and saving money down the line.
Let's dig into the certificate itself then, the Certificado Energético. What's actually in it?
Well, like we said, it's this report rating the building's efficiency. Currently, the scale is often A+ down to F, slightly different from the future AG, but the principle's the same. And crucially, these aren't just stamped out by anyone. They're done by accredited professionals, approved by ADENE, the National Energy Agency.
AD. Okay, so there's quality control.
Definitely. Ensures consistency and expertise across the country. You can trust the assessment.
And the report itself, what information does it give you?
It's packed with detail. It looks at the building's structure, walls, roof, windows. It quantifies energy use for different things, hot water, heating, cooling, gives you a clear breakdown.
So you know where your energy is going.
Exactly. But the really valuable part for homeowners is the section with efficiency improving measures.
The roadmap you mentioned.
Right. Specific, concrete suggestions. Things like install double glazing, add roof insulation, consider a more efficient boiler or heat pump. Real practical advice to cut usage.
How long is one of these certificates valid for?
Generally, for homes, houses, apartments, and small businesses, it's valid for 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
For larger commercial buildings, it's a bit shorter, 8 years. Then it needs renewal. Keeps the assessment reasonably up to date.
So if you're out there looking to buy property in Portugal right now, this certificate is pretty important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely crucial. More than just paperwork. It gives you vital clues about long-term running costs and potential future upgrade needs. Ignoring it could lead to some nasty surprises.
And sellers have to provide it. It's mandatory.
Mandatory. No way around it legally when selling. And the rating must be in the advert. That transparency is a huge plus for buyers.
Gives you info up front before you even view sometimes.
Exactly. Although, in practice, it's still quite common for the seller to only get the new certificate done once they have a serious potential buyer lined up.
Ah, okay. So it might come a bit later in the process sometimes.
It can, yeah. Doesn't make it less important, but it might not be available right at the very start of your search for every property.
Right. And that dynamic raises a really important question for buyers, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. How do you weigh up, say, a cheaper house with a poor energy rating against the future savings and added value you'd get from upgrading it?
It's not just the purchase price anymore.
Not at all. It's the total cost of ownership over the years. That seemingly cheaper house with an F rating might cost you way more in bills and renovations than one that's a bit more expensive up front, but already has a B rating.
Understanding that long-term financial picture is key.
Crucial for making a smart investment in Portugal. Really key insight.
Okay, so as a buyer facing this, you basically have a couple of main strategies, right?
Yeah, two clear options, really.
Option one seems straightforward. Just focus your search on homes that already have a good rating, like an A or a B.
Right. That way, you avoid the hassle and cost of major renovations later. You buy into comfort and efficiency from day one. Good if you want immediate ease and lower running costs.
Okay, low hassle route. What's option two?
Option two is for maybe the more savvy buyer or someone who wants a project. You find a place you love, but it has a lower rating, say E or F.
Okay, the charming older place that needs work.
Exactly. Before you even make an offer, you get quotes from contractors for the necessary energy upgrades.
Ah, so you find out the cost to fix it first.
Precisely. Then you factor those estimated costs directly into the offer you make on the house.
So you're negotiating the price based on the work needed.
Right. It lets you potentially buy a property for less initially, knowing you'll invest to bring it up to standard, making it efficient, comfortable, and ultimately more valuable. It's about seeing the potential and making an informed financial move.
That makes a lot of sense. Turning a potential negative into a calculated positive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get practical then. If you're inspired by all the mandates, the certificate, the potential savings, and you want to make your home more energy efficient, what are the main things you can actually do? And what sort of costs are we looking at, roughly?
Well, first off, it's generally seen as a really good investment. Adds value, improves comfort, saves money on bills long term. No doubt about it.
But the costs aren't fixed, obviously.
No, costs vary hugely. Every house is different. There's no single answer to how much will it cost. but we can look at the main options and give some ballpark figures.
And these upgrades often work together, don't they? It's not just about picking one thing.
That's a crucial point. They're often synergistic. Better insulation makes your heating system work less hard, for example. It's about creating a whole integrated system for the best results. That's why getting a proper energy audit, maybe linked to the certificate, is so valuable. They can help you prioritize the most effective steps for your specific house.
Right. Professional advice is key.
Hmm.
Okay, so option 1, a solar thermal system. What's that exactly?
Okay, this is often confused with PV panels for electricity, but it's different. Solar thermal uses the sun's heat mainly for your hot water.
Heating water, not making electricity.
Exactly. It can sometimes support central heating too, but mostly it's about significantly cutting the cost of heating your water, which uses a lot of energy. Given Portugal's sunshine, it's very effective.
And the cost.
Average installation is around $3,250. A pretty reasonable investment for slashing your hot water bill. Having cheap hot water feels like a luxury.
I bet. Okay, next. Solar protection and facade insulation. This sounds fundamental.
It really is. Probably one of the most important things for year-round comfort here. Insulating your external walls, the facade dramatically cuts heat loss in winter, keeps the warmth in.
And stops it getting too hot in summer.
Critically important in summer. It blocks the intense sun, preventing your house from overheating. Think of it like wrapping your house in a blanket keeps heat out in summer, cold out in winter.
How do they usually do it? From the outside?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Using exterior insulation systems, sometimes called Directives or capoto, creates a continuous thermal layer. But interior insulation is also possible, maybe if external changes aren't allowed. Foundational for efficiency.
Makes sense. Then the big one. Installing solar panels, photovoltaic PV systems.
Right. These are the ones everyone recognizes on roofs. They turn sunlight directly into electricity for your home.
So you generate your own power.
Exactly. Cut your electricity bill dramatically, maybe even eliminate it. And what's getting really popular now are battery storage systems.
Batteries. To store the solar power.
Yeah. Store the electricity you generate during the day and use it at night or on cloudy days. Maximize self-use, really move towards energy independence.
What's the rough cost for PV?
Average system cost is around $3,000, but depends on size. Panels are typically around 380 watts peak, 380 WP.
How many panels would a typical house need?
Depends on usage and roof space, but maybe 8 to 15 panels to make a big dent in your bill. Gives you an idea of scale.
And the return on investment there.
That's where PV really shines. Upfront costs seem significant, but with rising electricity prices, the payback can be surprisingly quick, often 5 to 8 years. After that, it's basically free electricity.
Turning a bill into an asset.
Pretty much. Adds real value, too.
Okay, what about the roof itself? Roof insulation.
Hugely important. You can lose 25–30% of your home's heat through an uninsulated roof. It's like leaving a massive window open.
Wow, that much.
Yeah. Heat rises in winter, just floats out. Sun beats down in summer, turns the attic into an oven.
So how do you insulate it?
For pitched roofs, insulation goes between or over the rafters materials like rock wool, foam boards, even cork, which is great and natural here. Flat roofs have different methods.
And cost.
Depends heavily on roof size and material. But as an example, say a 30 square meter roof using stone wool and plasterboard, maybe around $1,600 average. Often very cost effective for the impact it has.
All right, what about underneath? Basement ceiling insulation, is that common?
Often overlooked, but important, especially if you have an unheated basement, which can be damp and cold here. It stops heat escaping downwards from your living space.
It's the ground floor warmer too, I guess.
Definitely stops that chilly floor feeling. Can be done from above, under the floorboards, or more usually from below, attaching insulation boards directly to the basement ceiling. Creates that thermal break.
Right. Now, something very visible, window replacement and sun protection. Old windows can be bad, right?
Terrible. Single-pane windows, common in older places, are like energy holes. Massive heat loss in winter, massive heat gain in summer.
So upgrading makes a big difference.
Huge. Modern double glazing usually meets the standards, improves warmth, cuts noise dramatically. You notice it immediately.
And sun protection, like shutters.
Crucial in summer here. External shades, shutters, awnings, they block the sun before it hits the glass. Much more effective at keeping cool than internal blinds.
And there's help for windows.
Yes, often a government partial refund available if you install high-efficiency Class A+ windows. The average cost per window might be around €200 after that refund. So comfort plus financial help.
That's a good deal.
It is. And think about those lovely big Portuguese windows, often south-facing. Great for light, but heat traps in summer without modern glazing and shading. These upgrades adapt traditional style for modern comfort.
Good point. Okay, what about air quality? Ventilation systems, VMC.
Really beneficial, especially near the coast or in humid areas. Mechanical ventilation reduces moisture, stops mold, which can be an issue, gets rid of odors, improves the indoor environment, better for health.
And energy efficiency.
Systems with heat recovery are best. They recover heat from the stale air going out and warm up the fresh air coming in. Saves a lot on heating cooling.
Called VMC here.
Yep, VMC. Can be simple flow, just extracts air, or dual flow with heat recovery. Costs vary, maybe €2,000 for simple flow in a 4-bed house, up to $5,000 for dual flow, and investment in health and your building's condition.
Okay, finally, upgrading the heating system itself.
Big potential for savings here, too. Many older places rely on inefficient electric heaters or fireplaces.
Right, what's a better option?
Modern systems save a lot, especially if paired with solar thermal for hot water and heating support. Leverage renewables. Heat pumps are becoming very popular.
Heat pumps, how do they work?
They transfer heat rather than generating it from scratch. Use a little electricity to move a lot of heat. Incredibly efficient for both heating and cooling.
And the cost.
Installing one might be around €3,000 on average. Really a cornerstone of modern efficient homes now. Great for year-round comfort.
So lots of options, but it's about tailoring it.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all. It's about the specific property, the owner's priorities, and always thinking about that long-term return, lower bills, higher value, better comfort, future-proofing your home, essentially.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for anyone thinking about doing this, because the government isn't just setting targets, they're actually offering serious money to help, financial incentives.
This is the crucial link, isn't it? Turning the should-do into the can-do for many homeowners.
Absolutely. We're talking about the Sustainable Building Support Program 2023. In Portuguese, that's the Programa de Apoio a Edifícios Mais Sustentáveis. The goal is simple: get people doing these energetic renovations. And the main incentive is, well, it's pretty amazing, financing up to 85% of the project cost.
85%, that's huge. That significantly lowers the barrier for entry for these kinds of projects.
It really does. Specific things mentioned are installing those A+ windows, solar panels, even efficient air conditioning. And eligibility is broad, too. Any owner, co-owner, or even a permanent tenant in Portugal can apply.
That inclusivity is vital for getting widespread adoption, makes it accessible.
Yeah, it really shows the why behind it all, doesn't it? Connecting your home improvements to these bigger national goals.
Definitely. Sustainability, cutting the national energy bill, energy independence, better public health, it's all linked. A smart policy that creates that win-win. Homeowners benefit, the country benefits.
So what are those broader government objectives?
Well, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, obviously. Reducing Portugal's energy bill and dependency that's big for national security, they have a target. Cut primary energy use in buildings by at least 30%.
30% reduction.
Yep. Plus, improving comfort for people, improving indoor air quality for health benefits, and extending the life of buildings too, protecting assets.
Okay, the big question. How much money can you actually get? You said up to 85%.
Right. 85% is the headline rate for eligible projects and equipment. It's slightly lower, 65%, for fundamental insulation work, floors, walls, roofs.
Still very significant.
Yeah. Important note, these percentages are usually before VAT, and the exact rate can vary a bit depending on the specifics. Always check the fine print.
Are there limits? A maximum amount?
Yes, there's a cap. The base maximum refund per individual is $7,500.
$7,500. That covers a lot of potential work.
It does, and there are interesting multipliers. If your property is outside the main cities, Lisbon and Porto, the limit can increase by 10%.
Encouraging upgrades in other regions. Smart.
Exactly. Spreads the benefit. And if you own multiple properties and apply for renovations on more than one,
You get more support.
yes. The maximum refund increases by 5% for the second property and 10% for the third. Encourages people with portfolios to upgrade everything.
That tiered system seems quite strategic.
It is. It's not just a flat handout. It's designed to encourage broader participation, address regional needs, make it work for different situations. Very well thought out.
So what specific types of renovations qualify for this program, the typologies?
Right, they've laid them out clearly. Typology 1 is installing those Class A plus efficient windows we talked about.
Okay, windows.
Typology 2 is thermal insulation roofs, walls, floors, the building envelope.
Insulation, got it.
Typology 3 covers efficient sheeting and cooling systems using renewable energy rated A plus or higher. So think heat pumps, modern biomass systems.
Efficient heating, cooling, check.
Typology 4 is installing PV systems, solar panels, and other renewable energy gear for your own use. Self-consumption.
Generating your own power.
Right. And typology 5 is interesting. It covers renovations aimed at water efficiency, saving water.
Water-saving measures, too. Okay, that's broad.
Yes, things like efficient taps, maybe rainwater harvesting, important for Portugal.
What kind of property is eligible? Does it have to be a detached house?
No, it can be detached unifamiliar or a separate part of a building fração autónoma, like an apartment or townhouse.
So apartments qualify, too. Good.
Yes. The key thing is it must be registered for habitation. And there's that interesting retroactive bit, too.
Oh, yeah. Work done before.
Work done up until July 1st, 2021 can qualify if it falls under typologies 3, 4, or 5. So efficient heating, cooling, renewables, or water efficiency. Rewards early adopters.
That's great news for some people.
Oh.
Okay, so if you want to apply, what paperwork do you need? What's the process?
It requires a bit of organization, but it's manageable. You'll need your NIF, your Portuguese tax number, essential.
Diff. Check.
Your ID, obviously, passport or residence card. Your bank account number, the IBAN, so they can pay you.
IBAN, okay.
Then the crucial property document. The Caderneta Predial Urbana. That's the official property booklet from the tax office with all details.
Caderneta Predial. Got it.
And very important, all the invoices and receipts for the renovation work, and they must have your NIF on them. That's how they track the expense to you.
Invoices with your NIF. Critical.
Absolutely. You also need before and after photos of the work, visual proof.
Photos, right.
And, of course, you need the energy certificate for the property showing its state before the upgrades as the baseline.
The energy certificate again. It all ties together.
It really does.
It definitely sounds like a thorough application process, but considering the potential reward up to 85% funding, it seems incredibly worthwhile for anyone serious about investing in their property's future here. Improving comfort, saving money, increasing value.
Absolutely. A very rewarding process in the end.
Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly recap the main things we've covered. We saw that strong push from the EU, setting ambitious energy efficiency targets, which are definitely going to shape the housing market here.
The direction is clear.
We looked at the Certificado Energético, that energy passport, and how central and mandatory it's becoming. A key tool for buyers and sellers now.
More than just paperwork, it's vital info.
That we explored the practical renovation options, solar, insulation, windows, heating, ventilation, lots of ways to make tangible improvements.
Tailored solutions for different homes.
And finally, that really significant financial support through the government's Sustainable Building Support Program, making these upgrades much more affordable with up to 85% funding.
A major incentive making a real difference.
So putting it all together.
Yeah. Ultimately, what this deep dive shows is that these energetic renovations in Portugal, they're about so much more than just ticking boxes for regulations or saving a few euros on the electricity bill. Those are great benefits, obviously. But fundamentally, it's about making your home a genuinely better place to live, more comfortable, healthier. It's about contributing to a more sustainable future for Portugal, for Europe. And practically speaking, it increases the real value of your property and helps it last longer. It's an investment on multiple levels, your well-being, your finances, and the planet.
Well said. And as we finish up, maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider. How might this ongoing evolution, these rising efficiency standards, these support programs, how might it actually redefine what we think of as a dream home here in Portugal for the next generation? What kind of legacy are we building? One energy-efficient renovation at a time. Something to think about. We really hope this deep dive has given you some clarity, maybe some confidence, and perhaps a bit of inspiration as you navigate property here. Providing this kind of information is what we aim for. Your engagement really does encourage us. So if you found this helpful, please do consider liking it, maybe subscribing to the channel for more insights like this. And we'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments, any thoughts, questions you still have. Your feedback helps us create content that really hits the mark for the community. Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive.